Good morning, everybody. How you doing? On today's show, we're going to talk about yesterday's marathon and what we learned from it. Because, man, I learned a lot from yesterday's marathon. That's for sure. In addition, there are two big news stories today to be covered. One regards a follow-up to the situation regarding the lawsuit that Nintendo has filed against PalWorld. There is a huge update that is concerning, disturbing, weird, and we're going to talk all about it. In addition to that, this morning, a lot of information was released about the new upcoming Mafia game, including a whole new trailer. And I think that we will watch it together and I will react and let you know my honest thoughts, as well as some additional info that has been released about the game. So, an exciting show today. Get ready because it is time for another awesome edition of the Level 1 Podcast.
Get ready for some meaningful content, because the king is back, the king of the live stream, the king is back. Woo!
Good morning, everyone. Phil here, and welcome to the show. Today is Thursday, the 8th of May, 2025. Today is the fallout from yesterday's Viewer's Choice Marathon event, as well as the continuation of my very elongated 7-day-long streaming week. Please bear with me today. My throat is kind of gunked up, a combination of both allergies, all right, as well as the fact that we've got issues this week with this marathon and longer week. My throat is kind of worn out, all right? So it sucks. It really does. And I'm sorry that my throat sounds terrible, but I'm going to try to tough through it as usual. I still have all of today and all of tomorrow to get through. And I apologize in advance for me having to clear my throat or do things like that. What can I do, right? All right. So today we got quite a few different things to talk about. And the good news is both good and bad came out of yesterday's marathon, for sure. Like, we determined some really good things about not only the future, but some future playthroughs and things like that. So I'm excited for that. Because like I said, every time that we do any kind of a marathon where we're doing a variety of games, my goal is that we can at least get something out of each event that we do, right? And I do feel like we did get that yesterday, that now we know a couple of playthroughs or game, maybe not necessarily playthroughs, but games that we can play on and off in the rotation. And quite honestly, I think we learned exactly how to handle stuff moving forward when it comes to these kind of events. All right. So we're going to talk about that today. But also, I want it to be a normal day. You know, the marathon is over. I want to get back into normalcy. I can't wait to talk about game news today. This story between Nintendo and PalWorld is just wild at this point. Like, I can't believe that it's gone to the lengths that it is, and it's continuing on. Some interesting stuff about Mafia today, which is great. I'm also very excited to jump into Clear Obscure Expedition 33 again. As you know, this has been an absolutely great game and playthrough, and I'm very excited to play more of it. So, thank you guys so very much for chilling and coming by today and hanging out with me. And I'm excited for it. All right, I am. So, let's talk about all of this. All right, let's get down to it. Let's begin with the marathon yesterday because, like I said, a few things came out of it. I'd like to get through that so we can get to new stuff and not have it be this lingering topic all day long. All right, so let's do it. First of all, thank you to Ether. Ether has gifted a sub on Kick this morning. I appreciate that, Ether. That's our first contribution of the day. So let me get this on the leaderboard. So first off, I kind of mentioned this very briefly yesterday, but never really, talked too much about it. Yesterday just started off on the wrong foot right from the get-go. And what do I mean by that? So yesterday, I was setting up for the marathon. And as I was setting up over there for the marathon, I say over there because that's where my PC desk is with my monitor, the actual, streaming and capturing PC and all the office equipment and stuff like that is over there. So, I'm setting it up and everything, and I'm getting everything ready to go. And what happens is when I finish the setup, I turn my monitor. So instead of facing that way towards the chair, I turn it so it faces this setup over here where I'm actually, streaming from. And as I turn the monitor on this stand, it's on a stand that lifts the monitor up, I'd argue around 6 to 7 inches off of the surface of my desk. Um, I turn the monitor and I let go, and the monitor falls completely off of the stand, and it falls so hard that it knocks my speaker off. It actually pulls the wires that are also the modem. So the whole modem falls off and comes crashing down to the floor. The monitor itself hits the corner of my PC, creating a giant scratch through the monitor, a big curved scratch. Um, and the whole PC gets all its wires pulled. So the webcam's USB cord popped out, and it hit the restart button on the front of the PC, restarting the PC as well. And I'm like, what in the holy hell just happened? I mean, what a bad way to start a day when I'm about to be streaming all day and I'm looking like scared. I'm like, did I just damage my whole setup? You know what I mean? Like, did I damage my computer? Did I damage the monitor? Well, I did. I damaged the monitor. The monitor now has this giant scratch on it that it doesn't look like it's going to be repaired. What I did is I used some glass cleaner and electronic cleaning wash or cloth, and I sprayed it and basically buffed the whole monitor. And there were spots where there were damage that I did get it off, but now there is a huge curving scratch, okay, in the monitor. And I was like, oh my God, great. There's not much I can do about it. I'm not going to buy a whole new monitor just because there's a scratch on it. It's distracting. Like as I'm sitting here, I'm staring at it. It keeps catching my eye. I think eventually what'll happen is I'll get used to it. But I mean, you want to talk about that's how the freaking how the day started. And I'm like, oh my God, right? Like, I guess a taste of things to come. Okay. So the premise of Viewer's Choice is that this is an event where the viewers of my content, not me, but the viewers of my content, nominate and then vote for games that I'm going to play during a marathon setting. The purpose of the Viewer's Choice Marathon is simple. Let's play a variety of games in a short period of time so that basically we can get a good idea of games that maybe I either haven't played or maybe I haven't played in a long time, and we can get a taste for them and see what they are. Are these games that basically just don't fit my content style? Or are these games that maybe are interesting and I just haven't had a chance to play them yet? And now, having tested them in this marathon setting, maybe I'll like it, maybe I won't. Okay. So typically, when I do one of these marathons, there's a few good games, there's a few big duds. There's usually a couple troll nominations, trolls trying to get games in there that they know are not going to work. Well, this time around, okay, because we were kind of rushing to set this whole thing up. I didn't really have time to say screen or how can I say, how can I explain this properly? Normally when we do a Viewer's Choice Marathon, there's like a month buildup, right? So there's like 2 weeks where people nominate. Then we narrow that down. We look at the games that were most nominated. We can figure out what works, what doesn't, what's this game, what's that game. Then usually there's a poll or a series of polls, and we talk about it. There's hype buildup, right? In this case, because we were trying to fast forward into this marathon. Remember, we hadn't even discussed or determined that this 50-goal marathon event would actually be Viewer's Choice until like a week ago, right? Not even maybe. It was like last minute. We were trying to rush through, okay? So because of that, I just really didn't have enough time to fully flesh out games that I think would have worked in this event. I basically tried to just believe that people who nominated games had my best interests at heart. All right. I'm going to be honest with you. In some cases, I do believe that was the case. And in other cases, I feel like games were directly nominated and voted for because the parties who did that knew those would not work either for my content creation style or for the marathon. Okay. There's a couple cases here that we can cover. Um, so let's talk about the marathon itself. First game was Counter-Strike 2. And the funny part was, I actually think that my trolls thought this game was not going to work. But I think it was actually the opposite because they didn't realize I had actually played Counter-Strike 1 back in the day. They thought that I'm so used to the run and gun gameplay of Call of Duty that if I played a game that was very tactical, very much if you get shot once, you're pretty much dead kind of a game, that I was going to rage and I was going to freak out. And it wasn't the case at all. In fact, I was like, oh, okay, I'm starting to remember how these games were back in the day. Games like original Counter-Strike and Rainbow Six, that's how they were. They were just very, very tactical, where you had to play very carefully. You had to set stuff up. You had to wait and sit and be very patient. And then the moment that they come around the corner, you blast them, right? That's what it was. So, as soon as I muted the one moron who was trying to do dumb voice chat and I got the, stupid insulting comments off the screen, we were able to play it for about an hour. And honestly, I enjoyed it. Like, I actually enjoyed myself because I haven't played a game like that in so long that it was actually refreshing. Now, did I do well? No. I did get some kills, but a game like that, you need to be practicing actively. You need to know what the weapons are, how they're used. Remember, that game, you buy loadouts each round. That game takes a lot of time investment and practice to get into. But for what it was, I was blown away. I'm like, so it's 2025 and they're still playing Counter-Strike 1 because essentially Counter-Strike 2 is just Counter-Strike 1 with some mods. They changed it over the years. The map isn't exactly the same. The gameplay isn't exactly the same, but it's very similar. Like, wow, it's fascinating. And people were like, yeah, there's still giant esports leagues for this game that are, profitable $1 million tournaments. I'm like, holy crap. Well, if anything, that just shows that games from back in the day, a lot of the times could stand the test of time. Universally well-regarded games that everyone said, oh man, competitively, this is great, right? So Counter-Strike 2, in my opinion, it worked because you got to see me play a different kind of FPS and actually just kind of apply myself to it and try to learn it fast, which is difficult, but I did okay. And like I said to everyone, I would be willing to play it again, but a lot of people were like, don't think that's going to work because it's just kind of boring to watch. If I were a top player who had been playing this game for years and I knew all the strategies and everything, and seeing me being able to play well and to call out what I'm doing versus I have no clue what's going on. Let me try to learn on the fly and everyone else knows what they're doing and is just, going crazy. It's a little different, right? So I actually enjoyed Counter-Strike 2, but it seems like the audience did not. All right. I would definitely be willing to play it again, but obviously I'd want to know if it would actually work and if people would enjoy it or not. Because right now I'm just kind of not sure, kind of on the fence about that, if people would actually care about it or not. I don't know. Obviously, feedback appreciated in regards to that. Okay. Okay. Hold on one second. Someone tipped the book and says it sucks your monitor got scratched. Can you show us the damage? I could, but who cares? Who cares? Not a big deal. Thanks for the $1 tip. Okay. Anyway, so then we moved on to the second game. Now, the second game was Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. All right. And for me, I was intrigued at Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. This is a game that came out in, what was it, February? At the time it came out, there really was nothing else going on in gaming. There's like no other games coming out that week. So it got a lot of hype and a lot of attention at the time of release because basically there was kind of nothing else happening or going down at that point. The game then apparently got incredibly popular and everyone liked it and played it. And people were kind of yelling at me at the time, Phil, why aren't you playing it? And I was like, well, I saw my wife play Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 for a while. She didn't like it. I didn't like watching her play. It didn't seem like a very good game to me. And, that's my take. That's my opinion. And it's my prerogative to have that opinion. I don't have to like every single game that everyone likes, just like I don't have to dislike every single game everyone dislikes. We've seen that recently with games like South of Midnight, where I played it for 2.5 hours and I loved it. And the entire audience told me, no, the game is woke crap. Don't ever play it again. And I'm like, I don't know what to say to that. I didn't see that. I was liking it, but I'm not going to keep playing something you're complaining about and don't want to see. Okay. So in this case, I was like, since people are nominating it and they want to see it, allow me to check it out and see if it's actually good or not. Viewer's choice is a good opportunity to do that. Playing for an hour or more, you get a good taste of what a game is supposed to be, right? And then you can say, is it good or not? Maybe I was misjudging it. Recently, a couple months ago, I did a Five Nights at Freddy's marathon. And during that marathon, actually giving Five Nights at Freddy's a fair shake and enough time, I actually liked it. Wasn't in love with it, and I certainly think that it's overhyped by a lot of people, but I appreciated it for what it was. So I was kind of approaching Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 in that same regard that, hey, let's together check this out. Let's see if it's any good, right? So again, I'm not going to sit here and talk about it extra long or whatever. I played it for over 2 hours. On a marathon like this, I really should have only given it an hour, but I kept playing it, and here's why. Arguably, 75% of the time that we were playing it, it was just cutscenes or cutscenes with a dialogue choice that really didn't matter. There was actual dialogue that's timed. It's like, well, say something. You don't have to say anything. You could just be quiet and nothing changes in the story or anything. So it's kind of the illusion of choice where it makes you feel like something's important, but it's not. But man, what actual gameplay did I do in the 2+ hours that I did of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2? We did the combat tutorial, which not only did I learn, but then I won the first fight, which was challenging because it was the first fight. I don't know much, but I won it. There was a dice gambling game that we did. Okay. And outside of that, there was 2 sneaking segments that lasted less than a couple of minutes each. And then that was it. It was all cutscenes. And then at the end of the 2 hours, just get this, okay? You are naked. You are hurt, injured. And the first mission the game sends you off to do after sitting 2 hours through introduction is go harvest some chamomile herbs in the forest. Okay? Now, I tried my best to give this game a fair shake, okay? If anything, what I can factually assess about the game is that the first 2 hours just aren't very good. I'm not saying that that means that the entirety of the game is bad. In fact, I would argue I don't know how so many people could actually like the game if overall the game actually is bad. All right. I think it just has a really bad intro. Like, it's so slow moving. It's snail's pace. The blabbing and blah, 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 blah. They're just blabbermouthing everything in the intro. When you're playing a game and you want to get into it, you want to experience what that game is all about right from the get-go. And then if they want to do story elaboration or whatever, then you do that. In this game, 2 hours, and I had no idea what this was, what it was. At the end of the 2 hours, I still had no clue what this game is because I'd barely played anything. I just sat there watching cutscenes, okay? So the truth is, maybe it's good, but I, as you guys know, I'm a very honest guy, and I react and respond in a way that's very honest and matter of fact. And so 2 hours in, I'm like, guys, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. I'm bored to tears. I can't believe how bad this is. Like, this is one of the worst intros I've ever experienced in a game. I don't know why it's snail's pace. It's so boring. I can barely pay attention. I'm so just not interested. I have no clue why you didn't actually like play the game for more than like 5 minutes in the first 2 hours. It's very confusing. Okay. So basically, when I said that, right, the entire stream freaked out, claiming that I was dumping on the game, that I was saying that it was an awful game. I just don't get it. And I'm like, where is this coming from? Because that's actually not what happened. And all I can surmise is that the reason that this game was actually mass nominated and voted on for the marathon is because, again, much like with other games that the trolls tend to nominate, like Lost Records or something, they knew that this game would not work for the marathon. Okay? They knew that. They knew that this game had an incredibly elongated intro with insane amounts of cutscenes and that I was never going to get to anything interesting. So that's why they wanted it so badly in the marathon. Because much like a game like Lost Records, this incredibly boring narrative-based game, or, you know, they want it to not work. They want to derail my stream. They want to make sure that people get upset or bored or whatever it is so that the stream's a failure, right? I can't imagine if you liked that game, right? Why would you nominate it for my marathon when right in the criteria for nomination, it says, do not nominate games that have incredibly long intros because I need to get a taste of the game in the first hour that I'm playing it to know if this is a game that I want to play in the future. So if you knew that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 had an incredibly slow moving intro that barely explains anything about the game, but it's just a lot of blah, 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 why would you have nominated it for this? You know, I don't know. You know, take a look at what happened with Stellar Blade back during the Christmas event. All year, people said, play Stellar Blade. And I said, I know I'm not going to like it. I know I'm not going to like it. I know I'm not going to like it. But then they demanded it. And I said, all right, we'll play it during Christmas. I played it for an hour. Guess what? I didn't like it. And it's like, I told you so. I told you so. I told you so. I told you so. But you're forcing me to do it anyway. Okay, well, guess what? Now you see what I told you all year. I don't know what else to say. You know, in the case of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, maybe if I actually said, I will do it as a full playthrough. Let's get through the intro segment. Let's understand the game mechanics. Let's get to the main game. Maybe I would have actually liked it, right? But that's not the case. The case is, it was a marathon. I was only supposed to play it for an hour. I actually doubled the amount of time that I played it to try to give it a fair shake, and it still didn't get to the real game. So obviously there's a disconnect here, all right? And everyone, of course, always wants to blame me for everything. It's always your fault. Of course it is. It's my fault that basically I made a viewer's choice event and I believed that I could have open nominations, open polling, and have enough legit stuff that the event would be successful. Previous events, it worked. It did. Previous events, even though we had troll nominations and things that wouldn't work, we still had more than enough that the event worked. The reason that this one blew up the way that it did was because so many people like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and people, of course, took the opportunity to take my honest observations about the intro to the game to make it act like I don't like it. Well, I didn't say that. I said I don't like the intro. We didn't even get to the game yet. How can I even say if I would like the game if I haven't even played it, right? And I also said, I don't know why people nominated this for the marathon. It's like you guys are kind of conspiring against me in this case because you knew an elongated intro wouldn't have worked, right? So I don't know. I mean, you tell me, what it is, because I don't know. I really don't know the answer to this. I don't know what happened. All right. What I do know is that everyone on the internet, as usual, tried to use it as a viral moment. Oh, look, old man crashes out playing a game he doesn't like, even though that's not even the case. I'm crashing out because this is a marathon where I'm supposed to be getting a taste of each game. And in the criteria for the marathon, it said no games with long narrative intros. And then people nominated and voted for a game with an insanely long narrative intro. I gave twice as much time as I should have and still didn't get through it. So why did you do that to me? I don't get it. Okay. So I just don't understand. I mean, you tell me. If you're a fan of the game, I get it. Maybe you wanted to see Phil play it. All right. But how is this my fault? Do I really have to massively research every single game that ever gets nominated moving forward for any event to make sure that it fully fits the criteria of the event? I don't know. Exactly how much research and work do I have to put into stuff before we could just have fun on a stream? I'll be honest with you. If it becomes such an academic endeavor, it takes the fun out of it. You know what I mean? If I have to fully research every game and that's a spoiler to me to know that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 has a 2.5-hour intro and it's all narrative based. That's kind of a spoiler. So, I wouldn't be looking about that. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand. And again, when Eugene says, so it's not about it being your fault. It's about you not listening to us. About what? What are you talking about? What didn't I listen? I did listen. I listened to you. I played the game you wanted. It didn't work for the marathon. You see what I'm saying? Everyone has an issue with me basically not loving this game during the marathon. But when you actually get down to it and you're like, so what's the big deal? What actually is the issue? No one actually has a legit answer. Oh, well, it's because you did. Well, what? What did I do wrong? I was honest. It didn't fit the criteria for the marathon. It wasn't an entertaining first 2 hours. So what's wrong with that? Right? You know? Davian says, to an extent, you should have not bothered with it from the time of the polling. It was never going to work, marathon or otherwise. You weren't interested, and neither were the core fans. It's not about liking the game. It's about insulting real fans and viewers on the Daily Wrap last night. The Daily Wrap last night, here's what I said, and I'll repeat what I said. All right? If you love Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and you're someone that's in love with it so much that you can't accept the fact that someone else might not like the intro, that's incredibly, like, I don't know, what's the word? Immature, entitled, selfish. Like, someone can't disagree with you. And listen, I used to be like that too, right? Absolutely. When I was younger and I was a younger YouTuber and I was very close-minded, I'd be like, well, I like this game and I don't like this game, right? And based on that, I would make judgments on games and then say, if you don't agree with me, well, then you're stupid, right? I don't do that anymore. I don't make judgments. Listen, like I said in the Daily Wrap last night, there's a lot of people who actually did like Assassin's Creed Shadows. I didn't, but they were coming on my streams and saying stuff like, hey, I like it. You know, I think it's fun. I don't know what you mean. And I'm like, well, what can I say? Right? I don't know what to tell you. You can like it if you like it. I don't. And I outline my reasons why. And then we move on, right? You agree to disagree. It just seems like in regards to this game, people just can't agree to disagree. Instead, it's either you agree with us, it's great, or you're wrong. And so I'm saying on my marathon yesterday, I don't like this game. 2 hours, there's nothing going on. I'm not very excited or interested in it. And I've got people like actively attacking me in the chat, saying awful things about me and about the marathon's a failure. You're a failure. You don't know what you're doing. You're just a bad gamer, this and that. What is that about? You know? And again, what it leads me to believe is that this was purposefully nominated. All right? Purposefully nominated because you knew it wouldn't work. That's what I feel. And maybe I'm wrong. All right? But I really feel that's what happened. This is a game that you knew the intro was slow, but you nominated it anyway because you want to see DSP be bored and crash and burn during his marathon. I didn't nominate the game. I didn't vote for the game. I told you I wasn't interested in the game. You still voted into the marathon anyway. So then when you get the expected outcome, why do you freak out and yell at me? Right? Seriously, I don't get it. It just, why freak out at me? I just, So there you go. Dapan says, I don't get it. Apparently your core fans are angry with you. I don't even think that they are, for saying that they're idiots for nominating things, but clearly you're not aiming it at them. What is going on? I don't know, because I didn't aim it at them. I'm clearly saying there was a concerted effort of people who don't like me. Okay. They wanted to see the marathon fail. They knew that Kingdom Come was a beloved game, but also had an insanely long intro that doesn't fit the criteria of the marathon. And they purposefully nominated and voted for it to make the marathon crash and burn. And they succeeded, right? The marathon came to a screeching halt when I played the game for 2 hours. We were all bored. It was just nothing to enjoy there, right? If I had known that there was a 2.5 hour intro, I never would have played it during the marathon, but I don't spoil myself on these games because then what's the point? It's not a legit reaction if I know what's coming, right? And, in my opinion, very much so, this game could be good, but this is one of those games similar to, say, Baldur's Gate 3, right? Where you have to really invest yourself, time-wise and universe-wise. You want to get yourself immersed, right, in the universe. You want to pretend like you're actually living there in jolly old England or wherever, and, you're almost like role-playing, cosplaying, doing everything to be like that character. And you need to invest a lot of time in it, because if you don't stay immersed in it, you kind of lose that level of enjoyment and immersion, right? That's what I think. This is a game that you'll play it for like 2-3 weeks straight, And every day you're playing it, so you get through that intro and you immerse yourself in the mechanics and everything, and you really get into it. And I get it, but those kind of games don't work for me. Like Baldur's Gate 3, listen, I'm glad I played it because now I understand that actual style of game. But man, it really killed the channel for 3 months. Like viewership dipped. Everyone was complaining, why am I playing so much of it? You know what I'm saying? So if that's the kind of game that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 actually is, then it ain't for me anyway. Even if whether I like it or not, it ain't gonna work for my kind of content, right? So I don't know. Like, and all I could say is I just I don't even know what else to say, what you want from me. People are saying they want an apology. So what would you like an apology for? Because I didn't like the game, or because I said there's a group of very ill-intended people out there who all they want to do is insult me and ruin my content. And if that's the case, fuck them, which is what I said in the Daily Wrap last night. I said, if you nominated that game fully knowing that it wasn't going to fit the marathon, well, fuck you. If you're someone who actually can't accept the fact that I don't like a game that you like, and you're going to sit in my chat and insult me and then make hurtful comments and hurtful videos and hurtful things about me because I didn't like it, fuck you. Because I have the right to actually not like something that you like, and vice versa. So I don't get it. I don't understand. And maybe I'm just a different person than you and I'm in a different place than you. But like, listen, it didn't work. It's not a big deal. We can move on from it. I'm not going to play it again because I know I'm not going to like it. You know, that's it. Like, I don't even know what else to say. You know, I just, what else is there to say? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm lost. I'm confused. All right. So anyway, um, yeah, we're moving on from it. So it didn't work. All right. I didn't like it. I was freaking out by the end because literally 2 hours and still this old woman is just blabbing, blah, 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 blah. Nothing's happening. I'm like, did they really put this much dialogue in the game? Like, what the fuck? When is there a game? I'm still waiting. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. So anyway, just like with Stellar Blade, I guess I got to take the L for doing something that everyone asked me to do, right? Everyone wanted me to play Stellar Blade. I told you it's not going to work. I played it. It didn't work, but I'm to blame. And now with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, I told you I wasn't interested in it. Didn't think it was going to work. Everyone wants it, nominates it, votes for it. Play it during the marathon. Oh, what a surprise. It didn't work. But now I'm to blame. Okay, I guess. I don't know what else to say. I'll move on then and say I'll take the L for I guess being trusting and gullible and you know what I'm saying? So, all right. So moving on after that, we got to American Trucking Simulator, which I played for about 45, 50 minutes roughly. And that was fun. And here's why it was fun. Okay. I was starting to have some drinks finally. I was having a White Claw. I was joking about drinking and driving. I was running into things. I was, having a good time with the audience. We were talking about the trucking industry, but also just being silly. It actually was a fun, chill game. Like that really was after the nonsense of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 just being so boring. That was the polar opposite where it was kind of silly fun, right? There was no commitment to do anything. It was just testing the game. I feel like that game could work for like chill nights, but I don't know at the same time. It worked for like a really short test, but would it actually hold up for a 2+ hour stream? That I don't know. People have told me that, yeah, actually there are streamers who play that game and have successful like late night hangout sessions with their audience because they could just drive and talk to them and be interactive. And, maybe that's good. I don't know. I guess I'll think about it. Personally, I enjoyed it. I did. And I mean, we only did the demo. If it was something that we played another time and it worked for a stream, maybe I would buy the whole game and we'd see what else is in the whole game, whether it's, more locations or whatever. I don't know. But I don't know what you guys think. Would that be something you would like to see as an ongoing stream in the future? I don't know. All right. Okay. And then lastly, the final game last night was Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door. And to no one's surprise, Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door is a great game, and I loved it. And those who stuck around to watch it liked it. But because it was the thing that happened at the end of the marathon and I hadn't pre-announced that we were going to be doing it, I think basically the marathon kind of, was at the end and kind of ran out of hype and viewership. Maybe if I'd started that at the beginning, it would have got more attention. But I actually really liked it. I played it for about 90 minutes. Um, and it was fun and interesting. Okay. Now, when I was playing Paper Mario, I kid you not, people were sitting in the chat whining and complaining that I like Paper Mario, but I didn't like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. So do you see my point? Like, here's the point, right? I'm able to like what I like and dislike what I dislike. And if you disagree with it, that's okay. But why are you angry? Right? Like, I can disagree with you on something and be like, okay, you like Fortnite. Personally, I don't like Fortnite. That's okay. Why would you stay and be angry that I didn't like the game that you like, but now I like a game that you don't like? Like, people were complaining this game's boring. This game is like watching paint dry. It's so boring. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, what do you mean? Now, in addition to that, people are making another comparison too. They're actually saying, well, I don't get it. You didn't like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 because you said it has a long, boring narrative intro. But what about the Yakuza series that you play? The Yakuza series has insanely long cutscenes, right? And you don't complain about that. Yes, I do. When people say stuff like that, you can outright tell that they're ignorant and they don't actually watch my content. They just watch detractor versions of my content. I literally, every time that I'm playing a Like a Dragon or Yakuza game and there's an insanely long cutscene, I call it out. I even added an animation to my streams for when the cutscenes are too long and I'm calling it out and saying, when's the gameplay? I literally have an animation I added for Like a Dragon. So your narrative doesn't hold up. You're right. The game has insanely long cutscenes, and I don't like them there either. But in that case, that's a series that I've been playing for over a decade, that I have tons of history with, that I have a dedicated viewer base and supporter base for. So when I play Like a Dragon, people are like, oh, it's awesome. Even though there's going to be these long narrative based parts, we're still here for it, right? With Kingdom Come, I'm just playing it for the first time. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say, oh, this is an incredibly fun 2 hours of blah, 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 blah. I'm not. I'm going to be honest, when we had Like a Dragon, which one was it? Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth? The entire intro was story, and I told you then that I thought it was bad too. You know what I'm saying? I did. I thought that intro was bad. They should have jumped you into gameplay earlier. It didn't represent the game well. They messed up the intro, and I called it out in that game too. So your narrative never holds up if you actually analyze things factually. But that's the problem with these people who create these narratives. They don't look at things factually. They literally lie and take things out of context or out of the true perspective of fact to make their narrative truthful. So they'll say, Phil loves Yakuza and then show a long cutscene. Phil hates Kingdom Come and then show a long cutscene. But it's not the same. I call it out. I say as much. So what are you talking about? You know what I mean? So I don't know. Again, I don't know. But anyway, the fact that people stuck around literally just to complain about Paper Mario was remarkable. Like, so you're stuck around even though you knew I didn't like the game you like just to say because I like the game that it's wrong. Like, huh? Anyway, so what did we learn during the marathon? Number one, I'll tell you this. We're not doing anything viewer's choice style for a long time. All right, we've already done 2 this year. The first one was very successful. This last one, not so much. We're not going to do that again. We have a lot of ideas we've already planned out, saved up, that'll going to work. Outright, no lie. During the actual marathon, everyone in chat was like, you should have just done the Closet Festival. It would have been much more fun to see it putting on the hats and the vests and things for the last time while you were drinking and having a good time and hanging out with us. That would have been way more entertaining than what you're doing here. And I was like, yeah, I agree with you, but you guys voted for viewer's choice. Another thing, the viewers actually voted for viewer's choice. We had a poll and viewer's choice won. So that's what we ended up doing, So, we have other ideas of things to do. And I'm excited for the future. I know that we're going to have good marathons moving forward this year, whether it's, you know, in these marathons. The Closet Festival, the return of Mega Man to finish up Mega Man 4, 5, and 6, Rageathons, who knows? There's a lot of different ideas that we've had that I think could all work. But here's the deal. I control what gets played during the marathons at the end of the day, because that way we know that it'll work. We know that it'll fit the criteria. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be, oh, everyone go ahead and just nominate things that won't fit the format of what Phil's doing. We're not going to do that anymore. Okay. And for the record, this is exactly why I can't do fan lobbies, viewer lobbies. This is exactly why I can't do these interactive events. Why can't I play Jackbox Party Pack and stuff like that? Because whenever you give an opportunity to these trolls to do something messed up, they take advantage of it. And then they jump on the opportunity and they mess with everything. And that's exactly what they've done here, is let's ruin viewer's choice for Phil. All right, let's ruin fan lobbies for Phil. Let's ruin this, because they're just no life losers, is what they like to do. All right. So we're just not going to be focusing on this stuff moving forward. Instead, I'm going to be doing my own thing, and we'll talk about it together. We'll figure it out on podcasts and the like. But then I'm going to plan it out, and we'll know that what I'm doing during the events will work. Not that something that, completely won't work and won't fit criteria and that everyone's upset with me. All right. So I would consider playing American Trucking Simulator again as a chill stream. And Paper Mario I bought. So I would be down to do a playthrough of that at some point. I don't know if it's going to be immediately, but I think that would work as a playthrough, a chill playthrough in the future at some point. We need to talk about it. In fact, there's a lot of comments on the video saying, yeah, please play this later. We like this. So we'll see. Okay. But that's what came out of it. And essentially, I am not going to waste time with viewer's choice probably again this year. I don't think it would make sense. I think we should focus on things that we know will work. Okay? Fair enough. I received a tip here. What did I just click? I didn't mean to click that. I received a $15 tip from an anonymous tipper. Why not save a marathon for a weekend when everyone has time to watch all day? Well, here's the deal. I wanted to do it on the weekend, but we couldn't make it happen. We just couldn't. With this new goal-based system, there was no way to make that happen this last weekend. Now, let's say that we had waited till this weekend. Well, that's all well and good. But then what would have happened is, let's say we hit the goal, what was it, Tuesday? So we hit the 50 goals Tuesday, right? Now, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday come along. Well, obviously, I want to have nice streams that are supported and productive, but we already have a thing I owe you, and I'm not giving it to you. I'm withholding the reward till the weekend. Why? So more people can attend. So what happens? Phil's withholding the reward because he's greedy and he's selfish, and he just wants to do it when there's more people so he can make more money. You see? People want instant gratification. They want, when you hit the goal milestone, they want the reward. They don't want to wait another half a week for it. Okay? So what ended up happening is, likely, let's say that we hit the goal and I don't do it till the weekend. But now we still have another 3 days of streaming to go. There are people, I'm not going to support Phil. He didn't give us the reward. And since we didn't get the reward, I'm not going to support his future stuff until we get the reward we're already owed. Why would I support now and earn other goals when he didn't pay us for the goals that we've earned? You understand? That's my take. You know what I mean? Now, maybe you're wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Excuse me. But that's what I think would happen. Okay? So, yeah. And I get you. I do think that marathons traditionally work better on weekends. It's great when we can actually schedule them for weekends. It just didn't work out this time, right? Like I said, really, this marathon was messed up too because we didn't even know what the games were going to be till the last minute. People were voting up till the last minute to determine the games for the event, and that sucks. You know what I'm saying? Like, it really does. That's true too. Daphand says, keep in mind, there's the case of people who do try to save up and they want to support during a marathon event. So maybe they would have just saved up all week and not contributed to my other streams, and I would have had a whole slow week before the marathon. You're right. That also. I didn't even think about that, but you're right. You're absolutely right. So, yeah, that's the double-edged sword of having rewards based on milestones is it's good because you can have an off stream or two where we don't hit a goal, but eventually we will hit the goals and we're going to get that reward in time no matter what. Correct? So there you go. Excuse me. But sadly, um, I do think that there's a double-edged sword here where because we're doing milestones, people expect that instant gratification and they'll be upset if they don't get it, right? Anyway, so that's what happened yesterday. All right. Let's talk in the future about the possibility of having both Truck Simulator and Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door as future playthroughs. All right. I think that they will work, but I don't know exactly when I want to do them. Okay. I don't think I want to do them right now. Um, at all. I think that we have enough in the rotation going on that we don't need to be doing those right now. But I do think that we could bring them up in the future and they could be very good, actually, as playthroughs. So maybe the next time we're looking for a chill game, we already have an idea. Maybe the next time that we're looking for, an RPG, we got an idea, right? There you go. Okay. So I have two news stories that I'd like to cover today. And we have about a half an hour to do it, so we have enough time. All right. So, our first news story for today concerns the ongoing lawsuit, if you can believe it, between Nintendo and PalWorld. Now, you may say, what lawsuit? Well, if you don't remember, last year, it was revealed that Nintendo filed a bunch of patents, okay? And those patents were for basic gameplay mechanics that a ton of games actually already have, but it seemed like Nintendo was actually trying to legally claim that only they had the right to have them. For example, one of them was like catching things in a ball-shaped container. And another thing they tried to patent was riding a creature as a means of transportation throughout like the sky or the water. Now, can you tell me how many games you've played before where you rode a creature in the sky or the water? Probably hundreds, if not more, right? There's so many games that have those kind of things in it. But Nintendo, no exaggeration, tries to patent it. Now, in the process of them trying to patent it, they issued a lawsuit against the makers of PalWorld saying, hey guys, you guys broke our patent. It's patent infringement. Now, of course, we looked at this story last fall when it actually originally, broke. And what we came to the determination of is that Nintendo literally is not actually trying to stop people from using basic gameplay mechanics. All they're trying to do is drag PalWorld through a legal quagmire, trying to get them to lose all kinds of money in court so that basically they'll give up making their game. Because as you know, PalWorld pretty much is a ripoff of Pokemon, but the makers of PalWorld did it in a way that it's just so slightly different from Pokemon that legally it's going to be hard to really get anyone to say, yeah, you stole our intellectual property and therefore you have to stop, cease and desist. Okay? Instead, what Nintendo's doing, because they know they can't really win that battle, is they're trying to actually do a different kind of battle that they also know they won't win. But if they drag it out so much, they could likely hurt the company enough that they'll just go out of business or maybe just decide to stop making this game and updating it. Okay? So this statement was released by the makers of PalWorld overnight. You ready? Here we go. We would like to express our sincere gratitude and appreciation for the continued support of our fans over the past few months. We apologize for not being able to share as much information as we would like, but we trust our fans understand how difficult it is to be fully transparent while litigation is ongoing. Currently, we remain involved in prolonged legal proceedings regarding alleged patent infringement. We continue to dispute these claims and assert the invalidity of the patents in question. However, we have had to make certain compromises in order to avoid disruptions to the development and distribution of PalWorld. On November 30th, 2024, we released patch VO.3.11 for PalWorld. This patch removed the ability to summon pals by throwing PAL spheres and instead changed it to a static summon next to the player. Several other game mechanics were also changed with the patch. As many have speculated, these changes were indeed a result of the ongoing litigation. Everyone here at Pocket Pair was disappointed that this adjustment had to be made, and we fully understand that many players feel the same frustration. Unfortunately, as the alternative would have led to an even greater deterioration of the gameplay experience for players, it was determined that the change was necessary. So basically, while the court proceedings and battle is going on, they had to remove from the game the ability to catch and release the PALs in balls because Nintendo was claiming they patented that. That's our original idea. We own it. You can't have that. Okay? Continuing on. Furthermore, we regret to inform our players that with the implementation of patch V0.5.5, we must make yet another compromise. From this patch onward, gliding will be performed using a glider rather than with PALs. PALs in the player's team will still provide passive buffs to gliding, but players will now need to have a glider in their inventory in order to glide. We understand this will be disappointing for many, just as it is for us, but we hope that our fans understand these changes are necessary in order to prevent further disruptions to the development of PalWorld. So, in November, Nintendo kind of got one over on PalWorld by making them remove the ball catching and release of creatures, and now they're making it so you can't even ride one of the PALs. Right? Again, if this were the case, how would a game like Avatar be existing right now, where the game is you riding on one of the sky creatures? How would any game where you ride a creature, not Breath of the Wild, Zelda Skyward Sword, most of the time that you're in the open world, you're riding a giant bird. So how on earth would this be allowed, but not this? You know what I'm saying? How are those games okay, but not PalWorld? And the answer is very simple. It's fine. Nintendo really doesn't have the right to do what they're doing, but they know that they can basically, mess with PalWorld so much that hopefully PalWorld will go away and throw in the towel and say, all right, we give up. Nintendo's going to bug us so much, going to cost us so much money in court that we're just going to stop making PalWorld. That's what Nintendo wants to do. They know they can't win the fight. They just want to drag out the fight long enough so that PalWorld gives in. I want you to think about how messed up that is. So they know that they don't have a legal leg to stand on. They know they can't actually win the fight, but they know also that PalWorld are the little guys and that they have way more money than PalWorld, so they just want to destroy them in court by making them waste money. What kind of a system is that? Okay? Continuing on, we also want to extend our apologies to fans for the discomfort and concern the ongoing litigation has caused. We remain committed to developing PalWorld and delivering exciting new content for the fans. So, we talked about this back in the fall, all right? All I could say about it is it's straight up evil, all right? That's actually the best way to describe it. It's straight up evil. This is not, Nintendo has a leg to stand on. Where Nintendo has a leg to stand on would be saying, you ripped us off, you stole our IP, you only changed it just so much to get away with it. That legally, even maybe not legally, morally, they have a right to call that out. I agree. This would be the same as someone making a Tomb Raider knockoff game, and the main character's name is Kara Loft, but she plays exactly like Tomb Raider, looks exactly like Tomb Raider, except she's blonde, right? But everything else is the same. Kara Loft, blonde, but it plays like Tomb Raider, right? How would that be right? Everyone would say that's a knockoff. Well, that's what PalWorld is. But Nintendo thinks they can't really stop them from doing it, so they're just messing with the legal system, right? I guess the real question is, why is this allowed in the legal system? If this really is frivolous, and Nintendo isn't going to be allowed to have these patents held because so many other games have had these mechanics before, why in the holy heck has the legal system allowed them to waste everyone's time and to do this to Pocket Pal? What kind of a legal system do we even have, okay, that allows this kind of frivolous nonsense? So what do we do? And what is the outcome here? Will Nintendo have to eventually drop it? Will Pocket Pal survive long enough? Or will they actually run out of money? Should Nintendo face repercussions for doing this kind of frivolous stuff to mess with their competition? I don't know. I just think this is really messed up. I think that Nintendo is in the wrong. If they were going to go after them, they have to go after them for stealing the IP, not for other unrelated things that have nothing to do with anything, right? It just doesn't make sense at all. Pretty messed up story. Got a couple shout outs to do. Someone tipped a buck and says, consider carryover shots and stuff. No. Someone wants me to carry over shots and stuff. Okay. No, we're not doing that. All right. Here's the deal. A marathon is meant to be a celebratory, isolated event that's different and special from my other content. It's a limited time, one time thing. And what happens during the marathon is basically limited to that day or that event, that marathon. Now, as appreciative as I am for the levels of support that I've received during marathons, okay, just because you have one marathon that's way massively supported, all right, doesn't mean that I'm going to kill myself, right? My birthday marathon, I got over $2,000 of support, which is insanely good. Thank you guys for that, right? But that didn't mean I was going to drink 20 shots. I've said every time that I've done one of these marathons, right, that I'm going to do what's best for me. I'm going to do what's within reason. I'm going to pace myself, and I need to stop drinking. I'm going to stop drinking, and that's where it ends, right? I'm not going to say, oh, well, let's see. I had 12 or 13 shots, but there was another 7 shots that were owed. So now when we do another marathon, we're going to drink 7 shots to start the marathon and then more. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely, it's ridiculous. No. And if you don't understand that, all right, and to be honest, again, I'm not trying to be insulting. You have to think about what's best for me versus what's best for entertainment factor on the internet. There are people out there who just love to say this person should destroy themselves on the internet and then we'll reward them, right? But that's lolcow culture, right? I'm not going to sit here, hurt myself physically and do stunts and like I'm on Jackass and stuff to get over with an audience. I feel like I make enough content and I make good enough content that that's enough to support me and my family through a legitimately supported business, right? So I don't need to sit here and say I'm going to destroy my liver and I'm going to hurt myself to do things, right? I'm not going to say, hey, let's do 20 shots. Hey, let's save 10 shots and we do another 10 shots the next month and then more shots. We're not doing that, okay? Any reasonable human would look at the situation and be like, fair enough. Makes sense. Any reasonable human understands. But some people just aren't reasonable. They have this really weird transactional way that they think about existence. Like, but I don't get it. Someone supported your stream. Doesn't that mean you should cut your arm off? No, actually, it doesn't. I mean, I'm happy that people like my content enough that they want to support it, but that doesn't mean I should kill myself over it. Don't you think that's kind of reasonable? Right? And especially when up front, I've said things like, I am going to pace myself. I'm going to do what's safe. And you have to understand and respect that I'm not going to destroy myself. And the people are like, well, why didn't he do 20 shots? 20 shots. Seriously. Well, you see, Dabhan says that would be a wild goal, arm amputation. I don't think anyone's going to say the goal is arm amputation, but guess what happens if you completely destroy your body over drinking and everything and you get disease? You will lose limbs. All right? So, no, I'm not going to carry over shots from one marathon to another. I'm not going to drink 20 shots in one marathon. It's this simple. We have fun together during the marathon, and if goals get hit, thanks. I'll do as much as I can within reason to reward your support, and then we move on. If you are actively tracking and you're like, well, let's see. Earlier this year, there was a marathon, and Phil only drank 10 out of the 12 shots he owed. And then during the birthday marathon, he owed us another 7 shots. So technically, he owes us another 9. You have a mental problems. You do. Because first off, the people who do this actually didn't contribute. Okay? They didn't. They're not the ones who hit the goals. They're not the ones who earned the shots. They're just people who want to complain about everything. They want to be micromanaging and micro-tracking every piece of my life that I do and act like, oh, Phil owes, Phil owes. My God, right? Like, I'm already here 6 days a week full time. This is a 7-day streaming week full time. Okay? 7 days a week, giving you my life, covering all these games, different kinds of content, listening to feedback, trying to improve, trying to do things. That's not enough. You want more, right? You want more and more and more. At one point, you draw the line, you say, no, sorry. You know, I make the content, you choose to support it or not. If we do silly events where we do some rewards or not, that's great. But it's not such serious transactional business, right? That it's like do or die tracking. Because you contributed during a marathon, you did not purchase a shot. Okay, you didn't. You supported my content. And if I can do it within the realm of safety and reason, I'll take a shot to be silly on the stream because it'll enhance the entertainment factor. But I don't legally owe you a shot. You didn't pay $100 and buy liquor. But some people think that way. Some people can't even separate that in their heads. They just think that. That's not how it works. Okay? Anyway, in regards to all of this, I don't take that this person that suggested this was actually trying to be insulting at all. I don't think so. But you have to see where I'm coming from. Please, I hope you understand. No, I can't have carryover shots and stuff like that. It's kind of silly. It's Simply Eddie did a $5 super chat. And I think that's the first super chat of the day, right? It says, did you see the Mafia Old Country trailer? Will you be interested in playing it? That's what's next. We're going to do that right now. That's actually what I have sitting here, is we're going to react to this trailer. It's pretty short. It's only like 2 minutes long. Oh my goodness. Okay. So thank you, It's Simply Eddie. Appreciate that. Someone took $2 says you should just drink more because it's part of the fun and people would contribute more if you were drinking more. I don't know. Like to be honest, yesterday, all right, the whole over first half of the marathon, I was barely drinking at all. By the end there, where I had 3 shots and then I would drink 2 White Claws, actually, I was pretty buzzed by the end. I was, you know? So drink more? I don't know. I don't think I should drink more. Again, I think because it's based on support and stuff like that, it creates a pacing, a natural pacing, right? But here, let me put it this way. We could talk about this and we could figure it out, but we don't have another marathon again until we hit 100 goals. All right. So we got a ways to go. I think that we could talk about it more, maybe hash it out and improve it over the course of time between now and the next goal. Fair enough? Okay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning, a trailer was released for the new upcoming Mafia game, Mafia: The Old Country. And I would like to watch this live with you here and react to it to end our podcast today. So let's do it. All right, here we go.
Come in.
It's too loud. Hold on.
Bravery is not common in this world, and so loyalty, honor, obedience, they set the man apart from the rest.
So this really is the old country. This is going to be like Godfather 2, where you get taken back to the old country and you get to see, the predecessor, the current Don, how he came up in Italy before he came to America, right? So that's kind of what this is.
You took care of Messina, but this matter is not yet resolved. Will you help me bring it to a close?
Of course, Andorisi.
You know what I'm going to say, right? I mean, you know exactly what I'm going to say. The first thing I'm going to say is, why is this trailer only in 30 frames per second? I don't understand why there's still, I get it's cinematic, but if this is supposed to be representative of the gameplay, Why is it still showing at 30 frames per second? All right. Also, that he's basically like a superhuman, right? He's sneaking and he takes out one guard, but then all of a sudden he's doing a hand throwing knife perfect toss. Then he's shooting the guard who can't hit him. Then he magically knows there's a lamp to shoot and blow up and kill another guard. Like, what? This guy's some kind of like a super trained soldier or something? Okay. I like the music. Very dramatic.
You again.
Okay. So it comes out, I believe, August 8th. There you go. So to be honest, because it takes place in the old country, it doesn't really feel like it has the vibe of like the Mafia in the United States, right? I don't think that's what they're going for. So there was a little bit more information put out about it that we should check out. We think there is a large audience for compelling stories that don't require massive time commitments, said 2K president David Ismailer. We're excited to offer a game like Mafia: The Old Country in our portfolio and to provide a linear, highly polished narrative experience that can easily complement other more persistent games our players also love and engage with on a more consistent basis. Interesting. Mafia: The Old Country will offer 2 editions, Standard and Deluxe, both available for pre-order today. Launches worldwide August 8th. The Standard Edition, full base game, is $49.99 on PS5, Series X and S, and PC via Steam. The Deluxe Edition, all right, will basically have bonus items for an extra $10, $59.99, okay? It includes the Padrino pack featuring Lupara Special shotgun, Vendetta pistol, and a bunch of weapons and cars and customizables and blah, blah, blah. So there you go. And it also says if you pre-order the game, you will get a special outfit and a special knife. Drawing upon 22 years of experience creating Mafia's brutal and immersive worlds, the franchise veterans at Hangar 13 are now crafting Mafia: The Old Country, an origin story for the acclaimed series. First established in 2002 with the launch of the landmark game Mafia, the franchise has sold in more than 38 million copies across consoles and PC. So, some key takeaways from what they just said about the new Mafia game, The Old Country. Takeaway number 1, this is not an open world, repetitive, full of grindy style content game at all. That is not what they're going for. That's not what they want. Okay? They want a game that's linear and has an on-rails story. All right? Similar to both Mafia 1 and 2. Now, when I played Mafia 3, what was my biggest criticism of the game outside of game bugs that were at launch? It was that they changed the formula of the game to be much like a lot of their contemporaries. The game went open world, and the game had so much required grinding, base takeovers and things like that before you could advance the story, that the game ended up becoming an incredible slog, too repetitive, too boring. And at one point, you just want to advance the story, but instead, you have to sit there and you have to grind for some 15 plus hours of repetitive side content to get to the next portion of the game. And hence, a game that probably would have been a really great 20, 25-hour experience ends up being a 50-hour slog. And it bogged down the game. So it sounds to me like what they've done with Mafia: The Old Country is they directly listened to the feedback of the consumer and said, we're going to take out the filler. We're just going to make it the on-rails narrative that you guys loved about, Mafia 1 and 2, and we're going to emulate those games again. But they know that if they do that and they're not providing a 60-plus hour experience here, if they charge $60, $70, $80, people would be like, well, where'd the money go? If it's a 20-hour narrative experience, why are you charging us so much? So they're not. So instead, they're literally only going to charge $50. I have one word to respond to this announcement. Bravo. Now, I'll be honest, from what I saw in that trailer, did that feel like Mafia to you? Not really. Mafia, traditionally set in the United States, usually guns and gangsters and driving around and stuff like that. Did that feel like that? No, it felt more like a stealth hybrid game, maybe like a combination of almost like Tomb Raider and Uncharted style gameplay, but maybe with less guns. I'm not sure. I feel like what they've done in regards to the style of game, linear, no filler, right? And cheaper price, that's all good. But if you're going to do 20 hours of narrative, it's got to be 20 good hours of narrative. It's got to hook you. It's got to be interesting. I hope that the game is good. I hope that it's not all ridiculous nonsense, superhuman stuff. I hope that the story makes sense. Again, the emphasis on narrative, because that's all there is, it has to all be good. In Mafia 1 and 2, they were great. The stories were outstanding and they hooked you, right? Mafia 3 had a good story, but bogged it down with this filler crap. So now, let's hope that it actually is good. But I would say we need to see more. I don't think we saw enough there. I guess if it plays like Mafia 1 and 2, I'm probably going to like it. But if it plays like you're a superhuman guy and taking out, 20, 30 guys at once, I don't know. I'll be a little confused. So I guess we'll see. All right. But anyway, still good news for the fact that they are actually going to do what they did with Mafia 1 and 2 rather than 3. They listened to feedback, and that's a great thing. Okay. What's up, King Michael? I know you've been trying to get my attention. What's going on, man? Good to see you here today. Super Bonchan says, what's up, DSP? Which Mafia game was your favorite? Can we do a replay of it before the new one? I like both 1 and 2. I can't remember which one was my favorite, honestly. Like, I think I've played 2 twice, and I think I played 1 once. I think they were both fine games, but I don't know if I would want to replay one before the new one. So, okay. All right. All right, guys. Well, that's the show for today. I would love to hear your feedback or your opinions on everything that we talked about today. I hope that now that we have 2 games coming out of the marathon, maybe we'll play them in the future. That's good. The fact that we're not going to do viewers' choice stuff for the foreseeable future, hopefully that's good. All right, I hope. We'll do other kinds of content. Hopefully it all works out, okay? Okay. So, would anyone have any quick things to talk about or anything, or shall we end the show? Anyone have any quick things to, they want to tag me in the chat? We do a little bit of back and forth, or are we good? Should we take the break and then get ready for Claire Obscure Expedition 33? What do you guys think? Yes, I'm going to be playing Death Stranding 2. Yes. Oh, can I write my name in the kick chat? Yes. There you go. Any updates on Sweet Code N2 yet? No. I would say we got Claire Obscure to get through, right? Once we're done through that, let's see what's going on with the gaming landscape at that time. As long as there's no high-profile, big, major, new RPGs coming out at that time, probably that's when, Claire Obscure from all reports is pretty long. So I would guess probably, we're talking in June-ish, July. Depends, right? Depends on timing. Oh, excuse me. Megan thinks I should add Counter-Strike 2 to the rotation and open skin cases. I don't know about that. There is no Kingdom Come 2 playthrough. What do I think trolls do in their free time? Supposedly, I guess they're sitting on Discord servers. Not more than one, too. Because now they brag about it. Oh, Phil says there's only one secret troll Discord. Little does he know how many we have. You're wearing that like a badge of courage? No, that's an embarrassing badge of shame, you idiot. To say that, I'm on multiple troll Discords. Wow. But apparently it's what they do. They just sit around talking about me, trying to talk, trying to spin things negatively. It's pretty ridiculous. Okay. Well, that is true. Polygonal Black Cat says, I mean, basically it sucks because it looks like trolls have taken away your ability to do any kind of an honest poll. We've seen with it directly with this event. You tried to do what was right, but, now people blame you because the wrong things were played despite the fact that you did an open poll. Yeah, I know. They're sitting on their Discords. They're making dummy accounts. I mean, there's a guy on Kick who literally makes like 50 to 100 fake accounts a day. I wish I was exaggerating. He just sits there doing it all day. So you can imagine that times 5, times 10. These people sitting on Discord. Oh, now let's go mass vote and make this, poll skewed or whatever. It's pretty stupid. When's the next Mario stream? I don't know. NJZ, I would like to play Paper Mario in the 1,000-Year Door, but we're not putting it in the schedule as of yet. X Shooter, how are you today? It's good to see you. So, yeah. Marcus says he uses a wheel when playing American Truck Sim, and he thinks that I would like it a lot better if I did. Okay. I received a $1 tip, someone recommending RimWorld on Steam, saying, check it out, see if it's something you'd be interested in playing on an indies night. It's unlike anything you've ever played before, but it's very popular. All right, I will have to take a look. Many, many people have mentioned it. It was in the running for Viewer's Choice, but didn't get any votes. Didn't get enough nominations to make it to the final poll, which I feel is unfortunate because it's definitely something that's gotten a lot of requests over the years, but just hasn't made it yet, Oh, yeah. Minecraft is tonight on the late stream. I'm probably going to get another cup of coffee. Obviously, you can see, guys. I don't know why I'm feeling so tired today. Probably just exhausted from yesterday. I was here so long, and my body hasn't recuperated from it yet. Okay. So, yeah, Minecraft is tonight on the late stream, 6:45 p.m. I can't wait for that because we have the mods, and it looks amazing now. Okay. All right, guys. Let's end the podcast, all right, so we can get into Claire Obscure. I want to say thank you guys for understanding and, what happened yesterday. Moving forward, we're going to adjust, we're going to course correct, and we're going to do better with content, right? We're not going to be doing Viewer's Choice now for a while, so you can't have people derailing the stuff. And I'm glad that we did get some positive stuff out of it, all right? Thank you all for watching another show, and I'll see you all tomorrow for my week-ending episode of the Level 1 podcast. See you then.